Some sequels don't need to be made. Greenland 2, does it fall into that category? Or is this one just an exception? Let's talk about it. What's going on? This Trey here. Since you found me, you might as well hit that like button and subscribe for more content. Today, we're going to be talking about Greenland 2, Migration. Greenland 2 is a continuation from the Greenland original that released in 2020. First and foremost, I must say Greenland, the original Greenland, really took me by surprise. And I was very surprised with the outcome and how much I liked it. I mean, it just hits different. That film is grounded in fear, grounded in people, not spectacle. And to me, it's one of the most realistic disaster films I have seen in the past decade. But now we got the sequel, Greenland 2, Migration. This one drops us 5 years later after the meteor Clark decimated Earth. John Garrity, played by Gerard Butler, returns. His wife Allison, played by Marina Baccarat, returns, and as well as their son Nathan, played by Roman Griffin Davis. With all three of them having survived living in a bunker, while the world above them is devastated and hostile. But make sure you stick around to the entire video to know my rating at the end, and also my thoughts on how this one compares to the original. But without further ado, let's get into it. So, this one pretty much focuses on the Garrity family as well again, and they must leave the relative safety of the underground bunker just because it's not safe anymore. Having earthquakes, radiation storms, alien environments, toxic air, nothing is stable. They all decide to set out across the decimated Europe to reach a rumored safe place in the south of France that still might have breathable air. Now the difference between this one and the first one, this one here does feel like a post-apocalyptic road movie rather than a disaster film. Instead of dodging falling sky rocks, they're trying to navigate broken cities, fractured societies, and ruthless survival instincts. Starting out what works in this film for me, this film expands the world without losing the family core. John and his family still carry the main focus of the film, while also being the emotional heart of the film. Gerard Butler commits hard, and even when the script starts to drag, his performance gives you an anchor. The sequel sticks with the Garrity family theme, just like the first one. Also, what works is bigger visuals and harsh atmosphere. This film here has a bigger canvas. The ruined wasteland of Europe, abandoned cities, the post-disaster landscapes make the film feels more epic. What I like is the cinematography leans more into emptiness, as well as scale too. And it's just giving you that there's nothing left out here feeling while watching, and I really appreciate it. Also, what works is the violence of humanity matches the disaster. This film isn't just environmental danger. People are dangerous too, whether it's trigger-happy soldiers or desperate groups fighting for scraps. This movie leans into the idea that the fall of society is just as deadly as anything that the planet throws at. Moving on to what doesn't work. First off, let's be honest. This sequel hits a lot of beat, but it also stumbles where it should. First and foremost, what doesn't work for me, script weakness limits emotional impact. The script has loose ends and narrative holes that weaken the second half of this film. Characters sometimes react in ways that feel more plot-driven than logical, and a few sequences feel underdeveloped and rushed. It's like the script wants you to care, but it never fully immerses you emotionally. Also, what doesn't work is that this film fails to match the original's emotional depth. Whereas Greenland was terrifying because it felt real, this one, while visually daring, it also lacks the emotional grounded urgency. A few moments try to hit for deep human drama, but they don't land as hard, all while leaving you more impressed than moved. Also, this film over relies on disaster tropes. You know the usual, bandits, rough terrain, last minute betrayals, you know the typical stuff. There are a couple fun set pieces, but this all just feels like a collection of scenes, rather than a story that grows organically. And also weak narrative momentum at times. Even with big visuals and action, there are places where the pacing drags because scenes don't always build on each other. You go from one survival obstacle to another without the story tension fully escalating in a satisfying way. But this movie leans heavily into the idea of life after disaster. Not just surviving till the end of the world, but what happens when there is no end in sight. It's reflective, sometimes too much so for the genre, and it tries to say something about rebuilding, community, and why humans keep pushing forward. But because the emotional threads aren't always hitting, it feels like the film has ideas, but doesn't always know how to organize them in a way that feels memorable beyond the visual. But my final thoughts for Greenland 2, I must say it's a mixed bag. It's ambitious, visually striking, and offers great disaster genre set pieces. But to me, it just struggles with storytelling and deeper emotional impact. Rob Butler still anchors the film really well, and the idea of a family trying to build life after a disaster is compelling, even if the movie doesn't always deliver on that promise. So, for Greenland 2 Migration, I would have to probably give it a 6 or 6.5 out of 10. It's watchable, satisfying in some parts, and full of striking imagery. But it just doesn't hit the realness that made the first one oh so special. If you're into post-apocalyptic survival flicks, you'll definitely find things to enjoy here. But just don't go in expecting Greenland Part 1 vibes, because they're not here. This one right here falls short beyond the original. But if you made it to this far in the video, I greatly appreciate you. Let me know in the comments below if you've seen Greenland 2, how does this stack up to Greenland the original? Or did they even need to make a sequel? Let me know your thoughts below. Please, be sure to like and subscribe on your way out if you haven't already. And be sure to follow for any more movie news, reviews, or anything of that nature. Because it's possible. If you've seen it, I've seen it too.